Hello everyone. So I'm going to give you a tour of our springtime garden. So all the plants that we've gotten into the yard so far. We'll start over in this section and I'll show you what we got. So here is our aglio rosso garlic. I'm not sure how well he's liking it. And next to that we have two nasturtiums. So this is the Empress of India nasturtium. I really like the color of those leaves. You see how there's a little bit of purple on the edge there. And this was a peach melba nasturtium. I think that the leaves are really tasty. They've got like an almost spicy flavor, so we all enjoy eating those. And our chickens and, well, even our parakeets like eating those too. And then we've got a curly parsley right here. I like using parsley a lot in cooking. I have had regular or other forms of like Italian parsley, but I don't know, I do rather like the curly one. Here we've got some violas, which everybody's been eating those, both human and birds. Got some strawberries growing in there, and don't quote me on this because I lost the name on it, but I do believe this was a swollen stem mustard right here, which has almost been here for about 2 years now, actually, if I'm not mistaken. It's been here kind of a long time. It's not liking the heat so much, so I think it's starting to die back some, but it's been a nice plant to have. Again, good for feeding people and animals. And here I've got the orange mint. I'd put a few sprigs into this bed a couple years ago, and so that's continued to stay. It dies back in the winter, but it always comes back again. But I like mint. It's very tasty. More strawberries right here. And then here's our Jacinto or dinosaur kale. I'm not really a fan of eating kale myself, but the chickens are, so that's one of the reasons we have it. They really like their cruciferous vegetables. And then here we got some green onions. Actually, in this bed we've got, I think, a couple varieties of green onions, but I do not know all of which type that is. I believe these were ones, though, that actually we had taken from some we got from the grocery store. And when we cut off the tops, we just took the root and stuck it in the ground. I believe this was one of the ones we did that with. And let's see. More strawberries in here. This was, what was that? Japanese flowering kale. So that's very beautiful. As you can see, if you look in there, all that purple color. We also have a few lettuces coming up. I do believe that this one right here. So this one actually we had bought from someone who sells plants. That was already like 3 years ago, so this one's like reseeded itself every year. Unfortunately, I lost the name to it, so I don't remember what it is, but it's some kind of lettuce. So I oftentimes eat that on my sandwiches and just as a little extra when I've got meat that I'm eating. I just like that for a little green. And then here, this was a purple cauliflower. Hasn't given off a head of cauliflower yet, but again, use the leaves because the chickens really enjoy eating that type of plant. And then purple Brussels sprout, like everything in purple, as you can tell. And then this like feathery green plant throughout here, this is yarrow. That spreads, as you can see, because it's like all over the place, but we don't mind. It's a good herb. We've actually used it, one of the primary uses we've used it for is we've dried it, and then when you kind of grind it up, you can use it like you would a styptic pencil, so to stop bleeding. So we've actually have used that, like, that did happen with our chicken one time where she had a wound, and that's what we just did. We took the powdered stuff and then put it on the wound, and that did help. So we keep a lot of yarrow around for stuff like that, but it is also helpful for other things. It is anti-inflammatory and, you know, has other uses like that. So if you look it up, it's a pretty cool plant, and it's easy to grow. And over here, I believe this was our radicchio. Yes, this was the Verona Red radicchio. This is another one I like to eat sometimes too. This one's kind of got a bitter flavor, and it could be because it's just getting more into the season, I don't know, but I still like to eat it, and I think it's a pretty looking plant. And then around it here, this was the Resina calendula, so that's going to make a pretty flower later. But I'm happy with how these came out. These are definitely some pretty robust looking plants. So I can't wait till they get their flowers. And then, as you can see, our rosemary plant right here. It smells really good. I wish you could smell it. Oh, and here, this was, yes, lavender vivance. It's a deep purple vivance lavender. I thought we'd lost this one during the summer, but it had survived, and it looks like it's coming back more because it's getting more leaves at the bottom, so I'm happy about that. That also smells really good. And let's see, this, is it Bemu? Yeah, I can't quite read. I believe this might have been another kind of mustard plant. I don't remember exactly. It does have kind of bristly leaves. This was something too that I would give to the chickens to eat. It's got some pretty flowers and looks like it's going to seed now. And then this was the Paricicaba, I think that's how it's pronounced. That was some, I think it was a Brazilian broccoli. Again, it hasn't gotten a head on it yet. No head of broccoli yet, but again, the leaves, chicken food. They love that stuff. And oh, and here's our valerian plant here. So the root, the valerian root. This also came back. I thought it had died over the winter, but it's still there. But this is another useful herb for like relaxing and just having a nice relaxing tea. I know valerian is kind of not a taste a lot of people like, but I must say it is effective. But yeah, that's that coming up there. Potatoes that came out of the compost. There had been some compost that was buried here that had potato eyes in there, and well, potato plants came out of it. So weren't expecting that, but it's a welcome addition there. This is tarragon, Mexican tarragon. It's got pretty flowers on it. And of course, this is one of the more popular culinary herbs. I haven't personally used a lot of this myself, but I know it's good, so. And here we've got, that was lemon thyme. That one seems to be happy right where it is here. For some reason we've had issues in the past with where we planted them, but I think this one's happy in this spot. And then we have a chamomile plant right here, which also looks pretty happy where it is. And then fennel, another nice herb we like. I feed that to the rabbits sometimes. Here we've got, I believe this was a Mexican tomato. I'd never even heard of that before. But there's a local guy who sells plants. He had like many varieties of tomatoes. We went and bought a few things from him, but yeah, Mexican tomato. This was one that we got from him. And then borage right here. I know they say borage is really easy to grow, but again, for some reason, we've had a lot of trouble with getting it to stay. So this is one of the first times we've gotten it, and with its flowers, which are very beautiful. Very unique looking too. So we're happy that it's grown as much as it has here. And we're hoping to get seed off of that so we can get some more. There's a pea plant right here. I'm not even sure if that was purposely done. Another potato plant that just came up. And here, this is a black cherry tomato. Actually, the guy that we got the plants from, he actually gave us this one for free, so that was very nice of him. And then in this bed here, I had thrown a bunch of seeds because we had some older things that I just wanted to try and see if it would grow, which I had tossed some corn in here. There are some melon seeds. Those did not come up, so I guess those were expired. But then this is more lemon queen sunflowers because I tossed some of those in there, so got more of those coming up in various places. Probably gonna have to separate them a little bit maybe because they're kind of close together. And here is, this was the, I forget it had an Italian name, but it's a red Italian dandelion, but it makes these really pretty like blue purple flowers. But I really like that plant. It just looks really pretty. But the dandelion also being it's an edible herb. The rabbits like to eat the dandelion leaves too. And then here, this was Tabasco hot pepper. And more violas right here. They've made lots of flowers this year. And here's an oregano plant. I was just trimming off of it the other day to dry some herb because I use a lot of oregano when I cook, so I like having that dried. We also like drying it also just to have as like medicinally even for the animals. It's good to like powder up some herbs and put it into their food every now and then, so that's another reason I like having that. Here's a passion flower vine that came up here somehow, but that really has been spreading all over the place because they've been popping up in various places. I think there's another one somewhere over here too that just started coming up. Oh, right here. So yeah, lots of those. This is just an area I've been clearing out, so it'll be ready for things to be planted in soon. And over there by the tomato cages there, Kai planted a bunch of peas. So we've got some pea plants coming up. Which, I guess that one's gone now. We got a few peas off of a plant that I had right by the trellis, which I'd planted before we had that big snow here, which I guess that's why they call them snow peas, because the pea plant survived the snow and even made a few peas after the fact. So, but I think it died off in the heat now. But anyway, there's another passion vine. So as you can see, yeah, the passion vine really has been spreading around. And, you know, there's a few other things we've got here. Some canna lilies, the big dark leaves that you see out there. We've got the Mexican or Bolivian sunflower, Tithonia, that's started coming up again there. So we've got a few things coming up. But anyway, so that is a tour of the main part of the garden we've got started. So I hope you enjoyed seeing that, and I'll update it later when we've got more things and when some of that stuff has grown to, you know, into a bigger garden. So I hope you enjoyed that. Thank you very much for watching.